Ever wonder why your car runs lean at idle, but rich at wide open throttle? Or why it cranks forever on a cold morning? It could all come down to your fuel injectors. But here's the thing. Injectors aren't just dumb valves that open and close. They're little electromechanical machines that have to dance perfectly with your engine. So if you want smooth starts, clean throttle, and power when it counts, you need to understand what's going on inside those injectors. And that means we have to talk about something most people skip, the solenoid. So what is a solenoid? At the heart of most fuel injectors is, you guessed it, a solenoid. A solenoid is a coil of wire that acts like a magnet when energized. Here's the solenoid inside of a fuel injector. You can see the electricity hasn't hit it yet and it's off. Inside the injector, there's a plunger sitting over a small precision hole that lets fuel spray into your engine. That plunger is held shut by a spring and fuel pressure. But what tells the plunger to move? Enter the solenoid. When the ECU sends power to the coil, it creates a magnetic field, and that pulls the plunger back, and boom, we have fuel flow. As long as that coil is energized, the plunger stays open. Turn the coil off, and the spring slams it shut again. The dance goes on and on. But here's the catch. Injectors don't instantly open when powered. There's a small delay. We call this dead time or latency. It's the time between when the ECU energizes the injector coil and when the internal plunger is fully lifted, allowing the injector to flow fuel at its full published rate. Until the plunger is completely open, the injector doesn't deliver fuel consistently. We call this transitional delay dead time. During that time, fuel flow is inconsistent and not linear. That inconsistency throws off your fueling, especially at idle. There are mechanical limitations as well. Injectors are mechanical devices, and like any mechanical part, they take time to move. Some injectors take milliseconds to fully open. That might not sound like a lot, but when you're only commanding an injector to open for 2 milliseconds, it can mean everything. So the time it takes for an injector to open depends on the design of the injector. Heavier parts take longer to move. Fuel pressure can also play a role by pushing back against the parts. And most importantly, the amount of voltage you give the injector directly affects how strong the magnetic force is inside that coil. Lower voltage, weaker magnetic field, slower opening. When battery voltage drops, like during cranking or with a weak alternator, your injectors take longer to open. That means more latency, more dead time, and if you're not accounting for it, fuel delivery problems. Now let's talk about full flow, the static flow rate. Once the plunger is fully open, everything smooths out. Now the injector is flowing at its advertised rate. Steady, predictable, and easy to tune. That's the static flow rate. And it's the number you'll see on the spec sheets, like 630 cc's a minute or 60 pounds per hour. But here's the thing. While the static flow rate gets all the attention, it's actually the latency or dead time that often makes or breaks your drivability. But why? Because real-world driving isn't wide open throttle. It's idle, cruise, or light load. Injectors are only open for tiny blips of time, and those small durations are heavily affected by latency. And like we talked about earlier, latency is determined by physical injector construction, battery voltage, and to much lesser extent, fuel pressure. If you don't have accurate latency data for your injectors, try to find it. The injector manufacturers or trusted sources probably provide it. If not, you're going to have to test manually, applying varied electrical loads and carefully adjusting until your AFR stays stable across conditions. Bottom line, don't skip dead time tuning. It's It's not just a checkbox, it's crucial for smooth starts, crisp throttle, and reliable low-load fueling. Okay, the wrap-up. So while flow rate might be the flashing number on the spec sheet, it's the dead time, the unglamorous milliseconds that determine how smooth, reliable, and responsive your tune will be. Understand the solenoid, respect the dead time, and your tune will thank you.